Hello, I'm Nathan,
And I'm Jody, and this is Word on the Web.
and today we brought in a special guest to tell a story of success with one of the guests of the shelter.
Hi, my name's Terrence. I'm the Director of Project Recovery, and we have a special story about Michael. Michael first came to us during the pandemic, and he was really positive about Pete Guy, but he was struggling. I could see the pain in him, and he confided in me.
What was he struggling
He
with?
was struggling with alcoholism,
Okay.
heavy drinking, and he just kind of blew up his own life a little bit.
How long had he been homeless?
He'd been homeless for 5 years. 5 years, so he's chronically homeless and chronically drinking as well.
But hadn't been with us at Interfaith?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
And then he came to Interfaith, and I met him, and I kept trying to get him into our program, into our recovery program, and eventually he decided to come to our recovery program.
So when you say you try and get him into the program, how is that? Like, how does someone get into Project Recovery?
Well, we specialize in connection. It's not necessarily about the recovery, it's more about the connection and acceptance of people. We bring them in, get them back, make them feel safe.
So when they're coming in, like, how are they coming in?
They're coming in pretty raw. They're coming in emotionally and
Coming into a group, like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a picture of, like, what this program looks like.
They come into our phase 1 group, and it's a sober support group, and it's open to anybody, anytime. We have it every day, Saturday and Sundays too. It's open for sober support, and he started coming into sober support, and I offered him a position in our main program after several weeks.
Okay.
He accepted, and he started doing our intensive outpatient program.
And that's at the shelter,
At the shelter,
but now
yeah.
he's moved into a full-time program that you're running at the shelter. Okay, got it.
He came into a full-time program. I'm running at the shelter. And then he was having problems trying to find a job. He's over 55, minimal experience, and there was a big gap in his employment history from being homeless.
Was he stable at this point
At
to
this
where
point,
you
he
felt
was-
like he should
he was
get
stable.
your?
Yeah, he was. We worked on the basics and got his mental health and got his physical health.
Was he thriving?
He was thriving. He was thriving in our
Cool.
program.
So, Terrence, how long do you think it was that he was in the program before you recognized that he was ready to grow or next step or?
Yeah, it took him a little over a year. There was some bumps in the road there,
Okay.
and some pretty rough times for him. He was feeling fairly hopeless in the beginning, but he kept coming back to the connection. The connection was great, and he started to thrive, and he really started doing well. And he was interested in getting into housing and getting work.
What do you think? What was the moment where you saw that shift? Like he's struggling, and then all of a sudden you're picking up on this hope. Like, what do you think is that thing? Everyone's always wondering, like, what makes that person kind of
what
be
are you
able to
looking
shift?
for?
Yeah.
I think it's trust and connection.
Okay.
He knows he has a family with us. He knows he belongs for life.
So there's like a certain amount of time, like when someone's stable enough and they feel connected and stuff, that it starts to actually feel real.
Yes.
And then
It feels real.
and you can sense that.
Yes, absolutely.
That must be one of the best parts of your job.
It
is
is
the
when
most
you see-
rewarding
Yeah.
part.
It is one of
Yeah.
the most rewarding parts of my job. It makes me very happy.
Yeah.
And also, not only me, it's good for everybody else to see in our group as well.
Yeah.
Because they have hope. Well, if Michael can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael is just gangbusters on it. He's got into his own housing.
And how? Like, how?
Well, with a lot of case management work at the
Yeah.
shelter, with our wonderful case managers working on getting him into housing and getting
And
all
is
the
it
necessary
senior
paperwork.
housing?
Yes, it's senior housing.
Senior housing, okay.
Yeah, senior housing, very close by to the shelter.
And he stays connected
Yeah,
to
he
his
stays
community?
Stays connected to the community, stays connected to programming, comes back and hangs out in our group whenever he wants.
Whenever he can.
Yeah.
He comes to AA meetings as often as he can as well. And he's a great support for the program as well. So he helps people along the way too.
Yeah.
He found his purpose through connectivity with us. And he wants to serve. He wants to serve the people that he used to be with all the time, right? And he sees what we do, and he's a part of us.
Well, he's experienced the success
Yes. He's
firsthand.
family. Yeah,
right? And,
he's-
and now
Yeah.
he's family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the way in which you like let the guests, as they're getting more stable and more comfortable, I love how you let them lead groups, and it really gives them this sense of purpose. And then they are able to get housed, but I know that they kind of struggle being away from that purpose and that community. And so what are some of the things you're doing to help keep them connected?
Well, I have Mike come back to groups all the time and come hang out and help people. And he found his purpose. He wanted to do what I do.
Yeah.
And he wants to be a certified peer support specialist, and he wants to do all these things. And, you know, we have a path for that. And he's over 55, so we went out and I searched out senior work services, right?
Okay.
And we were fortunate enough to be hooked into Easter SEALs for 55 and older to retrain them for the workforce.
Oh.
And we had an opportunity to be able to bring that into the shelter, and we got that all finalized. And he was one of our first people to come work at the shelter for $7.25 an hour, and he did a fantastic bang up job.
So there's a minimum wage
Yeah.
to help them earn a little bit of money, and also maybe more importantly is the opportunity to learn a new skill
Yes.
to fulfill a purpose.
Yes.
In his case, he really wanted to give back.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
And fulfill that purpose.
Well, and Easter SEALs also, from what I understand, they're working with seniors who may have been displaced from employment
Yes.
for a while. And so this particular senior program is working to build job history.
Yep, job history and
So
job skills.
it's
Yeah.
like this training where they're actually getting paid to be trained
Yes.
and hopefully launching them. So Michael was able to actually do that at the shelter
Yes.
in which he used to live.
Yes.
I remember one of the very first days where he said, "It's taking me a little bit to figure out the computer thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
how to
Yeah.
work the desk."
Yeah.
But he's proficient now.
Yes.
Right.
Very proficient.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful that he was able to be hired on with us and trained and be a part of our team. Because, you know, you are us. We
Yeah.
we love everybody. Everybody has
Yeah.
potential and connection. And it's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the rest of the story is that he has moved past Easter Seals, that
Yes.
program, and
Yeah.
finished the story with an exclamation
Yeah,
point
well,
here.
the exclamation point is he's hired on at Interfaith Sanctuary.
Jazz
Right.
hands.
Right.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yes, he
And he's
is.
amazing.
Yes.
He's
He's amazing.
amazing.
He's done a lot of hard work, and I think, you know, the opposite of addiction is connection.
You
Yeah.
have said that so many
Yeah.
times, that word connected and connection, and it was clear that you and he had a connection,
Yes.
right? And then you not replaced it, but then improved that connection through programming,
Yes.
through the support.
Through the support of our
And then
programming.
he began to
Yeah.
connect with new people,
Yes.
connect with purpose,
Yeah.
connect with a job, and it's a
and,
great,
and connect with the experience with other agencies in the community.
right.
So Michael knows about the other agencies in the community as well, and he can work with them now, and he can work with us, and
Right.
you know, in time he'll be a certified peer support specialist, and he'll be helping us full time with
Yeah.
people in our programs.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw Michael the other night when I was at the shelter, and the pride in that man's face when he is at doing his work,
Yes.
he is so happy
He's
and
full of joy.
grateful. He's full of joy,
Yeah.
and that's who you want working for you at a shelter, because that joy, it reaches all the other
Yes.
guests, and when they're coming in and they're being greeted by that
Yes.
warmth, it makes it a lot easier to walk into a shelter at
It
night.
makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
So
And it helps other people understand that, you know what, if Michael can make it, I can make it too.
Totally. Yeah, every
Yeah.
day he can inspire.
Yes.
So, Terrence, thank you for
yeah.
being the inspiration and for being the catalyst and for like not just keeping it under our roof, but also going and finding the partnerships that will take the guests even further beyond that recovery.
We are community.
We are a community and all are welcome
Yes.
here. And you're awesome.
Okay, I think that's all for today. This episode of Word on the Web. Thank you, Terrence, for joining us.
You're welcome.
It's so fun having a guest.
It's great.
I know. Bye.